What up, Shinigami Kai? Shinigami here, back with another episode of Black Belt Story Time. But before we get into that, just wanted you to know I'm here with the new and improved Street Beast gi that I will be using at Street Beast West Coast 10. New patches, including my official logo patch on the back. I was originally going to wait till Street Beast West Coast 10 to premiere, but I recently went and competed in the IMAC USA World Championships, as you may have noticed from my last couple of uploads. And, well, that's what these are from. I got second place in 2 divisions because there were only 2 of us, and it was weird making the leap back into not full contact. Welcome to my co-host Broody. Also note that I'm wearing my official Street Beefs rash guard that I got courtesy of xmarshall.com. They were nice enough to send this to me to help promote it, which I will be wearing it at Street Beefs West Coast 10 too, especially when I'm, might take the gi off when I'm reffing just to show it off a little better. Not sure yet, but so yes, Black Belt Story Time. This is things I learned from my last trip to Vegas to do that tournament, along with my co-host Brutus here, who is the co-host with the most anxiety. This dog is tripping balls because people are still shooting off fireworks like absolute dickheads. 4th of July, I'm all for it. Light up the sky like it's the Revolutionary War. But before that, after that, maybe not so much, you know. Anyway, so I went to go compete at the USA World Martial Arts Championships because it's the first tournament in a long time. I was trying to win the karate cash prize, which I didn't even make it to the grand champion pool. It's a little different when you go back to not being able to knock people out. It also, you know, katas, like, you think, I kind of was under the impression that because I had done this stuff for years, I could just jump right back into it and do as good as I had before. I had practiced my kata for the kata division, probably not as much as I should have, like a month and a half-ish. But I was doing it after jiu-jitsu class, and I was tired from rolling and all that stuff. Basically, the takeaway from the tournament was train for what you're going to compete in and strictly train for that. I wasn't really able to do that because I didn't have the partners I needed, you know, for karate sparring. I didn't have anybody who knew how to do that. You know, my sensei is very busy with his job right now, since the park is still not open. He has been working a lot more. Since the program isn't running right now, which sucks. We actually have about 30 students, 30, 40 students that want to come back like right now. They're tired of sitting home. But yeah, so that's the takeaway there. I also learned that anytime you go to Las Vegas for anything on a weekend, make sure you, if you can afford it and you can get, you know, take the time off, whatever it is, make sure you check into your hotel on Thursday. Because when you show up on Thursday, there is no check-in line. And there was like no wait to get valeted or nothing. It's just right there. I mean, I walked in, there was one person ahead of me. So it was cool. Also, so what happened was originally Street Beast West Coast 10 was supposed to be, or 9 was supposed to be in May, and it didn't happen. And then they were trying to find a spot for it, and then it fell through at the last minute. And I happened to make Street Beast West Coast 9 the same day as my competition at the karate tournament. Originally, a bunch of the Street Beefs guys were going to come watch and support me. Obviously, they ended up having other obligations, all the guys in Vegas, you know. So, gotta love the guy. Storm Rider pulled through, and you can't really see it in the video as much, but he actually made this sign. Big shout out to Storm Rider for that. I'm gonna try to get that rematch with you. I might have to do another 2 fights in 1 day situation to do it, but we'll see what happens at 11 or 12. So I also learned a few things from Master Roshi, aka Coach Alfredo. Solid dude, gave me some perspective that I didn't really think about. I went to his gym pound for pound to stay loose for the tournament. He live streamed our first training session, second day. I was working with him as one of his employee coaches because he was, you know, getting ready to celebrate his birthday and then help his sister move back to California, I think, or back to Vegas. I can't remember which one it was, but it's gotten to the point where enough people know me, and obviously since Fitness 23 is in the place in Vegas where all the Street Beast fighters train, you know, he made a point. He was like, well, you can go to my gym or you go to Fitness 23, because this was like the night before the tournament. He's like, but the thing about Fitness 23 is Disneyland, and you're Mickey Mouse, and everybody wants to see Mickey Mouse. Everyone wants to talk to Mickey Mouse. Everyone wants to blah, blah, blah. Mickey Mouse walks around Disneyland, but he films cartoons in the studio, right? Remember, this is a metaphor, analogy, whatever you want to call it. My gym is like the studio. You're going to be there by yourself. You know, you'll be able to completely focus on what you're doing. No one will bother you. It'll just be you and the coach doing pads or whatever you need to, and then whatever else you want to do on your own. So I ended up going there. Well, the tournament ended up turning into Disneyland. I actually didn't expect anyone to really recognize me there, because I figured most of those guys probably, believe it or not, wouldn't have seen Street Beefs. It just isn't really that kind of a... That community kind of tends to stick to the sport karate kind of thing, and maybe watches like the UFC when they want to watch MMA or whatever. I really did not expect anyone to recognize me from outside of the tournament circuit. And I did have some people that I hadn't seen in years. It was really, I mean, years. Really refreshing to see those guys that recognized me from the tournament circuit, and that was nice. But then I was walking around, and I was wearing a white gi and everything. I wasn't wearing my red headband. Different black belt than when I fight in Street Beefs, which, by the way, Kataro.com, Kataro. Get your custom handmade in the USA belts. They have belts for every martial art that has a belt system. You can have any custom embroidery you want. Not paid promotion. I'm just, you know, promoting the product because I'm trying to get sponsored. Use code Danny10. It's my affiliate code. You get 10% off your first order, and it helps me get sponsored. So I was walking by, and when this dude in Muay Thai shorts that was like warming up for MMA and grappling and stuff was like, hey, you fighting Street Beefs? I was like, yeah. He was like, I knew it was you. So I was talking to him, and then for the first time ever since I did my first fight, this like 10 or 12-year-old kid walks by and goes, "You're Shinigami!" And I was like, yeah, what's up? Nice to meet you. I really don't know what to do. I mean, the kid looked at me like I was his absolute hero, and I've never, ever been looked at like that. I didn't know what to do about it, because I keep saying it all over the internet. I'm just a guy from middle of nowhere doing what I love. You know, I don't feel like I've done anything spectacular enough to be called a legend or get, you know, hero worshipped or anything. But I didn't know what to do with it, so I just asked him what he was doing. He said he was grappling and stuff, and I told him, you know, good luck. out there and just do your best, have fun. Only thing I can think of. I think one other person in the morning recognized me. Then I'm waiting in line. Like the tournament was disorganized. I get it. There wasn't as many judges. People probably didn't want to, you know. I know. We lost a few master black belts last year, not just to COVID, but to old age and other complications. So I know there was a lot of people that didn't show up, a lot of schools that didn't show up. So there wasn't as many judges. But I normally katas are done by noon. Period. Everybody, white belt 5-year-olds to grandmaster, black belts. I didn't do my kata division until after 2:30, 3 o'clock. Point sparring didn't happen until like 5 o'clock. So I'm waiting for them to send us to a ring for point sparring, and this guy goes, "Hey, are you the guy from this video?" He pulls out his phone, shows me the thing. I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." It was a detailed video, of course. It's like, "Hey, bro!" He goes back over to his phone. Like, "I told you this was the guy in the video here. You gotta watch this." So he starts watching it, and then after I'm done with point sparring, I'm walking around, and I hear the Street Beefs glass break sound effect. And about 20 minutes after that, like right around the time I'm starting to change for my sport MMA division that they've been apparently calling me for an hour, but they didn't have a microphone, so I didn't know. And they'd actually been announcing grappling and stuff earlier with the microphone in the other corner. But anyway, so people's like, "Oh, I just saw your fight, dude. That was legendary." I was like, I guess, thank you. That's awesome. Like I said, I really don't feel like I deserve so much praise still, but yeah, that's that. It turned into Disneyland because everyone was like, "Oh my God, you're Shinigami." So that was a departure from what I was expecting. I was kind of expecting it to be a vacation from that. Then Monday I went to Fitness 23, and yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Everyone was like, "Hey, Shinigami! Hey, I saw your fights," or "Hey, da da da." And it was cool. I got to see some new Street Beast fighters that I had met before that had just competed, like the Israelite and a couple other guys. Some guys I have seen before. I finally got to spar with Wade. WA, dude is the nicest guy ever. And that was an interesting experience because he's got high pressure but such good control that it's like he's kicking your ass when you're sparring, but he's not kicking your ass. You get what I'm saying? We had a good back and forth. Second round was the most fun one that I did with them. Second or third because we did some takedowns and da 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 da, and it was pretty cool. Got to roll with Storm Rider. Got to roll with Enion Oler or spar with Enion Oleron again for the first time since he moved. And as far as I know, he's still Team Shinigami Con. So tournament ends. And I decided to go to the steakhouse. Now, the reason I decided to go to the steakhouse in the Circus is because the last time I went to Vegas with Rachel to help corner Darkness at Street Beast West Coast 7 or 8, no 7. I don't know. I know I went out there to corner him at the Sandbox in Vegas, and I think it was in April, so that was 8. We wanted to go there, and they gave us some crap about you got to have a reservation. But it wasn't just that. I was all gothed out and everything, minus nail polish and makeup and rings and stuff. So, just casual goth. I was wearing my trip pants and my boots and, like a band shirt, but I wasn't, like, too, extra. I think I had a Mjolnir necklace on. And the woman behind the little counter, the little podium looks at me up and down and goes, "Do you have a reservation, sir?" And I said, "No, do we need one?" And she was like, "Yeah, and we're booked all night." And before I could ask for one for the next night, this douchey guy next to her looks me up and down twice as fast as she does and goes, "Yeah, and we're booked all weekend." And I was like, all right, cool. So I decided to screw with them. I actually made a reservation and gothed out a little harder. Had like 5 necklaces on, rings on all my fingers. Almost went exactly like I do as my Lord Demonius character on my second channel. Go check that out if you haven't. Link in the description below. But I didn't do the corpse paint stuff. So show up. Neither of those idiots are there. Dude behind the podium was super, professional. He was like, "Do you have a reservation?" I was like, "Yep." Dude didn't even look at my clothes. He just went, "You have a reservation?" I was like, "Yes, I do." Asked for my name, looked it up, got me a seat. So that didn't go the way I planned. Was the food good? For being supposedly like every year for like 20, 30 years, the best steakhouse in Vegas, getting that award. As a former chef, I was a little underwhelmed by the steak. They clearly didn't season it before they threw it on the grill. They just threw it over some mesquite wood and had a nice char and had that mesquite flavor. But that was it. It wasn't they didn't salt it or pepper it, and that's really all it should have had: salt, pepper, the mesquite smoke. Good, right? When you're paying $75 for a steak dinner, you shouldn't have to salt and pepper the steak yourself at all. The chef should perfectly season it for you. Period. That's my take on that. Now, for being what it was, steakhouse in Vegas, the prices were actually a lot less extreme than I thought. Granted, $18 for one. Granted, pretty large crab cake was a little bit steep. It was good, but it wasn't $18 good. Cocktail was good. Got a chocolate martini just to try it because I'd never seen that before. And the tiramisu would have been good if they didn't put so much cocoa powder on it. The cocoa powder on top should be a light dusting. It shouldn't completely cover the top in like a thick layer that's so extreme that that's all you taste is like dry cocoa. I'll give it like a 7, 8 out of 10. The tiramisu would have pushed it to a 10 if it had been, but it wasn't. And I'm kind of a tiramisu snob. That's probably one of my most favorite desserts I've ever encountered in the culinary world. So that was cool. I didn't really eat out that much. I was trying to save money. Especially because of that ended up costing me a lot of money. And my sponsors didn't really pull through like they were supposed to. Not gonna say who didn't do it, but I mean there were reasons they didn't do it. Couldn't pull through, but they had neglected to set money aside. I had talked to them like a month in advance, and they forgot. And I got to go talk to them now because I got to fight in Street Beef's West Coast 10. Big Smile rematch is off, unfortunately. I was really expecting that. Kind of left me in a lurch. Had a beef fight that I set up. It's going to be interesting. So it's going to be against the middle school bully who kind of popped up and started talking smack. I guess he saw the fights, and we have a mutual friend because, I grew up in a small town, and that's just how it is. I got mutual friends that know people that bullied me or are friends with them because they never had a problem with them because they never saw it happen and they never did that to them. So, my buddy Vinny, it wasn't even about fighting. It was a post about economics. So this dude pops up being economically illiterate and then starts talking smack about fighting. So I called him out to the yard. Told him after the next, the Big Smile fight or the Big Smile rematch, whatever it was. I can't remember the time. I think it was right before Big Smile happened. So I went over there, did that, came back, told him after the rematch, and I had some injury shit to take care of and other stuff. So then the rematch is off. I'm going to be fighting him. And then I got to do a belt defense. Depending on the weather and depending on what happens with what other heavyweight is there, I'm not going to say who it is. I know who's going to be there, but I know for sure the guy I'm probably going to end up having to defend my belt against anyway is there, depending on how the weather is, how quick I finish the beef fight, or whatever. Maybe I'll defend my belt that day. I'm not guaranteeing it. I'd rather get an extra month of camp because the dude is going to be the biggest challenge. Guarantee you he's more skilled for sure than Big Smile was. Good luck to Big Smile on his pro career, by the way. He got signed. That has a lot to do with why the rematch isn't happening, I guess. So I also learned don't waste the whole day before a competition trying to buy a trench coat just to spite a steakhouse. Couldn't find one that fit me, and then the only place that had one that kind of almost fit me, I wasn't gonna buy it because it was $400. Vegas is nuts. Red Balls of London, Red Balls on Fire. Please come back into business because you made the only trench coats that ever fit me, and I want to buy a new one from you guys. I foolishly gave away one in high school to a friend, and the other one I wore it into the ground. Kind of probably used and abused it worse than I should have. Especially since there were a couple instances where some things happened after I got it dry cleaned and I wasn't going to go get it dry cleaned again like 2 days later, so I put it in the washing machine. But yeah. Other things I learned. Never gamble on a Monday if you have Monday bad luck. I like to play blackjack when I go to Vegas, and I've been playing blackjack for like a decade, and usually I don't really put big money on it. I'll have like a $20, $40 budget for that. Last time I went through Vegas, I didn't play in Vegas. I played at State Line, but I started with $100 and decided to test something that I noticed as a pattern. I've never lost my first hand of blackjack when I sit at a table, anywhere, ever. So I bet the whole $100 that time, and I won it. And then I kind of played until I broke even or whatever. So this time I decided, once the losing streak starts, right? So this time I decided I was gonna really test my luck, and it panned out kind of. I started with $500 that I really probably should not have pulled out because I really couldn't afford it. But I decided to see if I could double my money and use it to pay for the stuff that my sponsorship money that I did get wasn't going to pay for. So I ended up $400 between going up and starting to lose money again, just screwing around. So I went to the stratosphere first, got up about $400, lost $200, walked away. And that was me making $50 bets at a time to try to win bigger money, which both paid off and also didn't. Went to the casino, the hotel I was staying at where the tournament was, the Westgate. Ended up winning and then losing and walked away with an extra $200. So I walked away with $900 total. Monday rolls around. I was going to go to the New York. My instincts were telling me to go there, but in the morning. But by the time I left my hotel, because I went to go see Fast and Furious 9 at the Century Theater in New Orleans. And since it's right down the street from New York, and I figured I'll go to see how far it is to the Oreo where I can park for free and blah, blah, blah. So I drove to the Oreo, and that took me about 15 minutes just to drive from the Orleans to the Oreo. Plus, I knew it was going to take another 15, 20 minutes to walk into the New York to get to the tables. And then back. So I would have made my movie in time, so I decided, screw it, I'll go back to the Orleans. I didn't know they didn't have blackjack there, or I would have, whatever. So I ended up going back later that night, and I sit down, and I decide I'm just going to bet once, get my first hand win, and walk away. Put out $640. My 600 of the money I had of the 900, and then $40. Rachel asked me to bet for because I kind of went alone. Lost my first hand, and at the last second, my instincts were telling me not to play. Should have listened. Just thought I was being in my own head. Will never ever gamble on a Monday, and I'll probably never gamble at the New York just because. And normally I'm not superstitious, but usually when it comes to gambling, my gut instincts have never ever proven me wrong, and I never should have second guessed it. So that was a nice lesson. Never gamble on a Monday if you have Monday bad luck. Doesn't matter how good your gambling luck is on a normal day. So Tuesday I went and I basically broke even at the Stratosphere. I won I basically won all the money that I started with back. Went to state line, lost 20 bucks trying to win Rachel's 40 back, and that was about it. But that kind of screwed up the rest of my trip. I wanted to go back to Area 15 and use some of the winnings to go to the Vincent van Gogh display they had there, because Vincent van Gogh is my favorite artist of all time. All time. The dude had a tragic life. It reflects in his art. He made beautiful art. He was underappreciated, like most artists. But he was, anyway. That's another topic for another video. Didn't get to do that. Biggest takeaway though is I went to Vegas alone because I'd never been there by myself ever, and it was kind of a bucket list thing. I want to go to Vegas by myself. Two things. One, that's a weekend trip kind of thing, like 1-2 days just to do Vegas stuff. Just to do Vegas stuff. Not go to a tournament and then spend like 2-3 extra days and then still not get to do what you want because you had to stretch your budget out across 5 nights. Never again. If I ever go back to Vegas just to do Vegas stuff, or if I ever go back alone, I'm only going for 2 days. Which brings me to pretty much the end of the story. Enterprise. I think I'm done renting from Enterprise. Once again, they didn't have my car. They called me the night before to let me know that they were low on cars because people haven't been turning their cars in on time since Monday. But since I confirmed my reservation, I'd be priority. They called me when my car was ready. They didn't call me when they had cars. I showed up. They were going on 2.5 hours late getting my car for my pickup time. It wasn't good. So then to get me out of there, they gave me a small SUV. It was like a triple upgrade. Well, I had not budgeted for gas in an SUV. I had budgeted for gas in a standard size car. Getting there because of this upgrade had cost me almost my entire planned gas budget for the whole trip, there and back and driving around Vegas. So then Friday I had to deal with Enterprise again because I called them like, yeah, this isn't going to fly. I can't afford this. So I went to an Enterprise in Vegas and swapped it for a Nissan Versa, or it was either a Versa or a Sentra. I think it was a Versa. That thing was amazing on gas, by the way. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I think I spent I think I only spent like $60-$70 filling it up twice. Which I would have been on budget had I had that thing from the jump. Because I probably would have only had to fill it up one more time. So I think I'm done with Enterprise. And then, looking at the rental car prices for my next couple of trips, one's to Street Beast, one's to a friend's wedding, next month, within a week of each other. I noticed that now Avis and Budget are actually the cheaper things through Costco Travel. If you have a Costco membership, I think you have to have the executive membership. But if you have a Costco membership, make sure you go through there to rent a car because you get a huge discount plus a free upgrade, like every time. So basically, you're paying the price for the car one size down that a normal person without the discount would pay, plus a discount at a higher level car. Anyways, I'm looking for more sponsors that I can rely on for every event, and even potentially sponsors to start paying for my training and stuff, just to make it a little easier for me to not be so stressed out trying to do all this stuff still. I am close to going pro. I'm having a little problem dropping the rest of the weight that I need to, so I think I'm going to see my doctor about that. Hopefully this month. I'm going to try to make an appointment for that. But yeah, seeking sponsors, please hit me up on Instagram. Link is below. You get a logo on my trunks or my gi. preferably the trunks. I'm looking for longtime sponsors that are going to also carry over into my pro career, where I won't be able to wear the gi. But I mean, if you want a spot on the gi, you know, message me and I'll tell you what spots are open. And I will obviously be walking out in my gi top when I go pro, so it will still get exposure. Also, obviously, on my fight banner, which I will eventually have when I start my pro career. Monster, hit me up. You guys need to have a MMA section on your sponsor sign-up page. I'll probably apply for some sponsorships from like Combat Sports and a couple other places too. I wish Datsusara did sponsorships, but yeah, gear companies, supplement companies, you know, hit me up. I need cash sponsorship. I need supplement sponsorship. Honda. I'm driving a 1991 Civic, and it doesn't have air conditioning, and it's got, you know, a lot of miles on it. I love Hondas. My first car was a Honda. My second car would have been a Honda if I could find one. My third car is a Honda, but I have never had a car that was newer than 1993. Helpful Honda folks, hook me up, sponsor me, give me a 2021 Civic. It'll be sweet. Shinigami needs an official Shinigami mobile. Other than that, you know, check out all the other Street Beast Fighter channels and other related channels in my description. They're all linked there. Don't forget to buy my merch from my merch store on Teespring, which is linked. Also, Heart in the Fight has the Shinigami Kempo collection, the Kempo Salute selection in different colors, including the Kempo colors, red, black, and white. I think that's about it. Hope you guys have a great weekend, or had a great weekend. And, you know, I almost didn't do this because I was going to do a video, almost, but I'll talk about this. This will probably be next week's video or the week after's video. I don't know. But we got to talk about that UFC 264 card. At some point. Sucked that my boy Raymond Daniels was actually part of why can't I think of his name? Wonder Boy's opponent's camp. Because I'm a huge fan of Wonder Boy. And me and Raymond are actually from the same karate lineage. So, man, that stung to hear. But it is what it is. Anyway, the usual stuff has already been said. Shinigami out.
Shinigami, samurai master. Straight up out the land of Lancaster. No one stronger, ain't no one faster. Turning the opponents into Caspers, ghosts, disasters. We don't do no waiting, where I'm from, we attack them. Swift KO kick to the chin, leave them napping. Sniff, take a whiff, that's the smell of victory. Better fear, making all my peers' careers history. Big dubs, all we catch is big dubs. Karate chops to his tops, leave them big slumped. Humble beast, beefing in the street. We don't take no loss, you gon' catch defeat. You gon' catch a fist.